This is the SAP Developer News for the 13th of June, 2024.
Hey folks, Rich Hallman here. I hope you all are doing well. This week, I'd like to share some news around the ABAP to UI5 project from our friend Opabov. He has posted on LinkedIn about the newly released ABAP to UI5 SAP BTP connector, which allows developers to call ABAP to UI5 apps via BTP from anywhere and integrate them into SAP Build Workzone or SAP Mobile Start. This is the first of a three-part series, and in this post, he explains the initial installation and configuration while sharing a bit about how the connector works. If you are a fan of ABAP to UI5, as I am, check out this latest post and learn about the ABAP to UI5 BTP connector today. Now, while I have you, did you know that APM was launched last week at the ABAP conference at CodeConnect? Our friend Mark Bernard announced the availability of APM, an ABAP package management and registration tool. I don't have a whole lot of details to share right now, other than providing the website where you can check out the announcement video from the conference last week and also review the presentation and, of course, sign up for access to APM. I've done so already. I highly recommend for you to sign up yourself today, so check out the website for more information. Bye for now.
Hi everyone, welcome from Zurich, where we are having right now AI meets business hackathon, and I would like to introduce you to all the SAP colleagues who are coaches here. And now back to our regular update. It is great to see that quite many teams here at the hackathon are using SAP HANA Cloud Vector Engine. If you are participating in the developer challenge for this month, then you might see that the week 2 challenge already posted. And this is where I'm inviting you to try Vector Engine yourself. We will be able to recreate the part of the demo which I presented during our developer keynote at the SAP TechEd 2023. Happy coding, and I'm looking forward to your submission.
We're happy to announce the May release of the SAP Cloud Application Programming Model. Now, this month, we only have new features on the Java runtime. This is because the CAP team is busy preparing for the big annual release. So expect major new things coming soon to the Cloud Application Programming Model. In the meantime, the CAP version this month has several new features that we'll highlight. First of all, there's a new difference processor. This is an API that can compare two entities and will tell you the differences. It can be really useful if you're wanting to, for instance, track changes at two different states of the same entity. We also see with the built-in change tracking, now through an annotation, you can specify what key you want to be recorded in the change tracking. So instead of the technical key, you could perhaps store the business key. We see a new beta feature for fuzzy HANA search. We also have a new feature for setting the max age of an HTTP response via annotation. This is particularly useful when you have a MIME response. And we have the OData v4 key as a segment. This helps with building and simplifying the URL parameters for keys when requesting an OData entity. And finally, there's a feature that I hope will be coming to the JavaScript version as well, and that's the new developer dashboard. Now, this is an alpha version of the developer dashboard, and it contains all kinds of cool information that helps you during the development process. Now, the notes are really clear that you should never use this in production because it would expose sensitive data. It looks like an incredible new developer tool, and I can't wait to check it out. So all these great new things coming to the Java version of CAP in the May release, and keep your eye out for the big major release coming soon for the Cloud Application Programming Model as well.
Are you working with the SAP Business Technology Platform? Then if so, this news item is for you. The reference architecture for SAP Build Process Automation has been released. There's a wealth of resources collected together on this reference architecture over on the SAP Discovery Center. Not only that, but if you're building BTP solution diagrams, there's a repository with a starter kit, examples, and guidelines, as well as templates for you to use that are in Draw.io format. Links to the SAP Discovery Center page and the GitHub repository are in the description.
Hey everybody, Mr. Bluebeard, Josh Bentley, and I'm here to give you a couple updates real quick on the SAP CodeTalk podcast series. I was lucky enough to get to do 2 podcast episodes recently. The first was with Frank Densborn, and he's from our SAP App House team. The App House co-innovates with our customers. They dive deep on a use case and they come up with some code that actually can solve that use case problem. So Frank Densborn goes through this with me in the podcast episode, and then he goes down to SAP Sapphire in Orlando and dives deeper with the customers on how we're using large language models and ChatGPT and generative AI to solve some of these use cases. So very topical and very cool stuff that Frank and the team at the App House are putting out. The next episode I recorded was with Rainey. Riley is from our Developer Advocates team, and he helps put out the Developer Insight Survey. So if you see that survey coming out and you fill in those questions with your answers, we actually take that back to the committee and we go through those answers and put out a report. And Riley goes through the methodology and some of the most recent answers that were given in the Developer Insight Survey. So link to that's below in this Developer News episode. And if you're not already subscribing to the SAP CodeTalk podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, please subscribe. And also you can keep watching it here on the SAP Developers YouTube channel. And finally, happy Pride Month. Bye.
The developer advocates are always looking for new ways to help developers. With that in mind, we've started creating some YouTube shorts. A short is in portrait format, no more than 60 seconds, which is basically then ideal for consuming quickly on the go on your phone. The current series is on CAP Node.js with tips and tricks that are good to know. For example, this week's short, just released, is all about the @path annotation for service definitions. There's a link to the entire playlist so far in the description, so head on over there and check them all out.